Sponsoring this series of FFS, My Dad is Martin Kemp, is Norwegian Cruise Line, better known to some as NCL.
Right, well, look, Dad, listeners and watchers to this podcast will probably be feeling the English cold right about now.
I tell you what's not cold, Ro. In your mum's bedroom.
Whoa! No, why? Well, look, we didn't need to know that. But look, good news. To escape the cold, NCL offers more opportunities to visit the Caribbean with 13 ships sailing the region this year.
Oh, we've seen it for ourselves now, haven't we, Ro? I am going to cherish those father and son memories forever. We were on board Norwegian Concorde for a week and it had all the bells and whistles. I mean, what was your favourite part, Ro?
Yeah, I mean, we have to mention the Encore Speedway, one of the only racetracks at sea and an NCL exclusive experience.
Ah, for sure. But what about all the entertainment? There's the Choir of Man and even the nightclub.
Yeah, I mean, you really enjoyed the Beatles tribute band, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. And the fact that they were even at the Cavern Club, which was actually inspired by the legendary Liverpool club, where the Beatles regularly performed. It was absolutely amazing.
Norwegian Cruise Line offers more with its brand new More at Sea package. More to see, more to do, more to enjoy.
So are we going to address the elephant in the room or no?
What elephant in the room?
Well, I thought this was a no girls allowed.
Oh, that's not fair. You calling mum an elephant?
I do feel like the elephant.
Why do you feel like an elephant in the room?
Well, because I know this is your thing. You
Yeah.
and Dad have mastered the banter chat.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, to be honest, it's less so much banter chat. It's, I don't know.
It's honest chat.
No, we spent, I think, 15 minutes talking about farting, yes, in a recent one.
Yeah, not my thing, that.
No, no.
Yeah,
But-
I've listened to your previous podcast.
Well, that's good. I hope you should.
And yeah, I don't know where you go with some of your topics, and it's just.
I've always said to mum, you should come on one day. She said, I don't think it's my thing.
Yeah, right. Okay, well,
So
look.
here I am.
Yeah,
Elephant
exactly.
in the room.
So if you're listening to this, firstly, welcome to the podcast. FFS, my dad is Martin Kemp. We do have a slight difference today. The difference is quite cool, though. Well, it depends on what you define as cool. I'm basically on a holiday with my parents.
Yay!
Just like old times.
But no, we are. We're on the NCL cruise ship. It's pretty cool. This is pretty amazing. On the Encore, we're currently sailing towards the Dominican Republic. It's quite a weird place to record a podcast, but we could do this every week.
Right, it's
to be
weird,
honest.
right? But let's be fair. It's lovely.
Yeah, it is.
It's really nice.
It's the
And you
only
know what?
reason I agreed to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I love this. Is the best holiday I've been on for years.
Yeah.
Right. Hang on a minute. Can I get a couple? I've
you
got a
doing?
couple of drinks coming. Here we go.
Oh.
Drinks.
There we go. Look.
Oh, right.
The Coke's for
Oh.
my boy. Yeah,
thanks.
my
Yeah,
little boy.
cheers.
And
Call me
me and
out.
Shirlie have got the pina
colada.
coladas.
Thank you. Oh, now this is holiday.
Oh, lovely. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, everyone.
Thank
Oh, Ro,
you.
don't drink yours yet. I bought something for you in Miami.
What?
Yeah, look. You can put it in there.
Right. Okay. What is that? What is? Where have you got that?
I got it in Miami.
When have I ever seen a cup holder with an erection?
I thought when I
It's
saw
kind of a
it,
bit dirty though, there,
Well,
isn't
I
it?
thought-
It's not
It's an
exactly.
aubergine.
when I saw it, and I could see that it doesn't work quite that well, and I thought that's good for my
Right,
boy.
that's me, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't quite work how it should. Woody's bar, great. Okay. All right. Well, cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
I didn't buy that, by the way. That was definitely a dad
I
gift.
should hope not. Yeah.
No.
Okay. Well, look, I thought the best thing for us to do today is because usually, Mum, how it'll work is we have someone who loves to listen to the podcast will send us a message or something that will suggest a topic that we should talk about.
Right.
Firstly, are you aware of the premise of this podcast?
No.
No, like not today, but like you understand why I set up the podcast?
Yes,
Why?
because you want. Well, I hate to say it.
Yeah, go on.
When Dad dies, you
Yeah.
want to listen back to it all.
Yeah.
But there are things.
So you can constantly take the mickey out of
but
me.
there are things
No.
I understand about that. Only the other day I was thinking about, someone asked about my mum and dad when they got married, and I thought, I don't know where my mum and dad got married, and they're not here for me to ask.
You don't know anywhere where they got married?
Sorry?
You don't know where they got married ever?
I'm going to guess Barnet Registry Office.
Barnet Registry.
Yeah.
It's not one of those things
But-
you can guess, is it? You
Yeah.
know.
No, I do,
Right.
because there's something, I think, but it's one of those things in life. Yeah, it is great to ask all the questions whilst we're still here, basically.
No, that's what I thought. But that's why it's good. So it has started all about Dad being dead.
Yeah.
So that does
yes.
lend itself to people kind of saying, I wanted to speak to my parents about this and have a conversation with them about this.
Yeah.
But I thought, as we're on holiday, I think we should just have a nice holiday discussion.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, let's be
honest.
But there's a lot of holidays that I don't understand, because I've got a lot of questions for you guys, I think, as a couple, right?
Yeah.
Main one being,
Fire away.
for you guys, probably one of the most important parts of your life has been a holiday.
Yeah.
Why?
When we got married.
Thank God you answered that correctly.
Yeah. Well, no. Hang on a
Took
minute.
you a second there.
Well, hang on a minute. I've always thought that me and Shirley aren't married. Because
Sorry, what?
Well, our marriage, right, was on a cliff top with this woman who said, "Martin, do you love Shirley? Shirley, do you love Martin?" Okay, you're married.
It was quick,
It was quick,
but
to
I
the
wanted
point,
it to be quick.
But I don't think we were actually married.
You got married in St. Lucia.
St. Lucia,
So he's
yeah.
always said he doesn't think we're really married.
I think it was all a bit of a con.
Do you think you're married?
I think I'm married.
But surely you have to sign stuff when you come back in the UK, no?
No, I don't remember that.
But you most probably do.
You
but I
haven't
don't
done
think.
I can't remember.
No, but like surely like when you elope, you have to like, don't you have to do a thing where
I'm
like
sure
you get
if I
married
go-
twice or something?
I'm sure if I... No, we never got married again in England.
I'm pretty certain
didn't.
you're not married.
Well,
then.
don't...
We didn't. I don't think we are married.
Well, for
then
tax
if we're
reasons,
not,
I don't know
Ro,
what to
if
say.
we're not, we'll get
Well, I
remarried
don't
in
know.
England.
They say we're married.
We'll go to Chelsea Registry Office and get married there.
Okay, so that's a revelation. Parents aren't married. Great. But it's another thing. I mean, I didn't want to be the one to bring this up. It's also the place where Harley was conceived, which is
Yes.
disgusting.
You don't
It's
want
not
me to go into
disgusting.
detail about
no,
that.
it's
though.
not disgusting. It was a beautiful thing, Ro, because Shirley Mum was panicking that she couldn't have a baby. Right, she was suffering really badly with endometriosis, weren't you?
Right.
And she was suffering really badly, and for a couple of years, we were trying to have a baby, and you know, we were doing all the right things. Like I told you once before, didn't I? About Shirley's mum even gave us the advice of
Oh,
the
no, not
the
this
wheelbarrow.
one.
Hang on.
Hi there, good afternoon, Norwegian Concorde. This is Terry, your cruise director, with your afternoon rundown.
Okay.
Right, there we go. So what I was saying was, I told you once before that me and Mum, you know, we went to your mum for advice on how Shirley could get pregnant.
That's not true. Please tell me this
It
isn't
is
true.
true.
Please tell me this
Sadly,
story.
She told
this
us.
is true.
Have
My
you tr-
mum was laughing, going, "Oh,
Yeah.
have you tried the wheelbarrow?" I didn't even know what she was talking
is
about.
outrageous.
So
I
we
didn't
tr-
know what she was talking about. I was going,
so-
"Why would I try?" I thought she meant get in a wheelbarrow.
No, so we tried the wheelbarrow
Martin,
several times.
Stop.
And it didn't work. And then anyway, so what happened is we decided to get married, and so we went to St. Lucia, and that evening after the wedding,
All right.
Yeah.
Shirley conceived.
No more.
Yeah.
Shirley conceived.
No more, please.
But it wasn't the wheelbarrow.
But also, my
Christ.
nan didn't like the fact that Martin and I lived together unmarried.
Who?
My nan, my dad's, my
Oh, I was
nanny
going to say
bushy.
not Nan, but your
Not
mum.
my mum,
Not your nan.
my grandma, my dad's mum, didn't like the fact that Martin and I, if we mentioned it, she used to look the other way. If I said our house, she just could not take
didn't like
the
it.
fact that we lived together unmarried. So when we got married, I do remember the lady, the registrar, saying, "And I bless you and all the children you have." And I actually felt a physical relief as oh wow, that's going to really please my nan that we're now married. And that's why I think we got pregnant, because I felt like the veil had been lifted and we'd been blessed.
Oh.
It's an amazing thing, really, though, because
Yeah, mildly
if you're
disgusting.
suffering from
Mildly disgusting.
no,
for me to
but
think about, but
endometriosis
yes, I
stopping
understand.
you getting pregnant for
Endometriosis
for
is a whole
years,
other podcast.
then that evening, that very night,
yes,
Shirley gets
Martin,
pregnant.
we get it.
Yeah. As much as I want to talk about endometriosis, I don't think we are today.
No.
That's a whole another podcast for one. But in terms of holidays, when you were kids, did you have? I can't. Okay, so let's be real, Dad.
Yeah.
You've basically the other week. I don't know if you know this, Mum. Dad tried to make me believe that he was so poor that they used to put an open fire, and Granddad used to have an open fire in the corner of the room.
It was a paraffin
What, camping?
heater.
Yeah, like a campfire in the corner of the room,
It was that.
and that's how it got hot.
Yeah, it was that.
Did you go
He
on
did
holidays?
tell me that.
Because but
No, we did. Well, we went on holidays to Butlins, which
Yeah.
I absolutely loved. But
wait, how old is Butlins?
60s, 50s,
really old.
50s?
I wouldn't like to take a guess, but I think it's early 50s
Right,
is
okay.
my guess.
So you used to go there.
So can I just say I'd get so excited that I'd get ill. And then one year...
Well, you throw up.
No, my glands would all swell up. I'd get a fever because of the excitement of going on holiday. And I remember they had to put me in a wheelchair in a red blanket. And my brothers were just pushing me around.
Why?
in the
Because you're
wheelchair.
so ill.
Because I'd got myself so excited about going to Butlins. They all were saying, the doctor said, we think she's got herself too excited about the holiday.
Well, when Dad was a kid, when he got so excited on his birthday, he pooed himself.
I know.
Imagine you two together as kids. Christ.
We were sensitive,
One's
you
dying
see.
and the other one's just shit his pants.
Yeah. But
We were sensitive,
you were
weren't we?
talking about a paraffin heater in my bedroom. Right?
Yeah.
We were so poor, we had to have the paraffin heater. It was worse than that, actually, because my dad used to heat up a couple of rocks on
That's
the paraffin.
not true.
This is
Oh,
true.
no. That's
not
Off the
true.
paraffin heater and put them inside the bed to warm the bed up.
That is not
That is
true.
true.
Well, it could be true because my house
It's
was
true.
freezing. And this is the thing about having a bath. When I met Dad, I had a bath that was about 3 inches deep
Right.
because we'd never had any hot
Isn't that
water.
just like lying down in the shower?
We never had any hot water.
So you didn't? You just had a
Puddle.
shower?
I
Yeah,
had
is it-
5 brothers and sisters, so like a big family. And so you could not have a bath. So when I met Dad, he filled the bath up to the top, and I thought it was the most opulent thing I'd ever seen.
Wow.
To this day, I'm still not happy with it that he overfills the bath water.
So when was the first time you went on proper holiday? When was the first time you went abroad?
I think I was about 16. I went to Torremolinos
Where's that?
in Spain.
Spain.
But the only thing I remembered was the smell. In those days, the drains weren't good.
Yeah, it was terrible.
And there was always
Yeah.
this
What, in
horrible
Spain?
smell.
Yeah.
It was a terrible.
Yeah.
You don't get that these days.
No, you don't.
And that's something I noticed about travel anyway. Years ago, you would travel to places, and that place had a smell. Even like when you got to America, you think, "Oh, I can smell America."
But so yours was Spain.
When I was 16, went to Torremolinos. Didn't like it because I didn't
with
like
Nan and
the
Granda?
smell. No, with my friends.
Oh, right.
I never ever went abroad with my parents.
Did Grandad ever leave the country?
My
Never did.
dad never had a passport.
Never had a passport.
No, we only went to Bognor Regis or Skegness.
Yeah, great places.
And I won the Donkey Derby in
Yeah.
Skegness, and I won my family a free holiday. And I've never seen my dad as proud as me. Even
What, on the
being
donkey?
in Wham, being Pepsi and Shirlie, the only time my dad has ever been proud is when I won the bareback donkey race.
What?
I have photo evidence as
No,
well.
I don't want to see the photo evidence of the bareback race, Mum.
Oh, you're taking that as
What
something
the
else
hell
now.
is that? That's disgusting.
Well, I don't know
I've
what
never
bareback
seen my dad
means.
more proud than when I won the bareback derby. Fucking hell.
Which just means I didn't have a saddle.
Fucking hell.
Oh my God!
Jesus
Why do you
wept.
turn everything?
I'm not, Mum.
So-
You said it.
Shirley,
This
you're
is-
taking this podcast down so many levels.
Right, okay. Well, let's not say it was bareback.
Mum,
Let's say the
but-
Donkey Derby.
Oh, it's
won-
even worse. That
You've
went
taken a
my
very
head.
proud moment. You've taken a very proud moment in my life and put it somewhere. You know.
Stop saying the word donkey.
Right.
now.
Okay. Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, let's not.
Okay, all right.
That's the trouble with your generation.
That's disgusting. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, so when did you go on holiday, Janet? What?
Did you ever ride a donkey?
Who did you ride to get a
Ostrich.
holiday?
No, first holidays I ever remember, but with my mum and dad used to save up. I can't tell you how hard it was for them to take us away. But it was always the holiday camps we went to, like whether it was Pontins or whether it was Butlins, one of those.
Yeah.
And in those days, I used to love it. Absolutely loved it with my brother, and you would make a bunch of new friends while you were there. You went on those 2-seat bicycles that they used to drive around Pontins or Butlins.
Yeah.
But it was still, it looked like it was still just post-war. With the entertainment that you get every night, it was brilliant because my
The
mum
way
and dad.
you describe
my mum
your
and dad's-
childhood, no joke, is like
Dickens.
Yeah, Dickens.
Yeah, it was Dickens. But
It
my
wasn't,
mum, my
mate.
mum
You
and
were in the
dad,
60s. It was fine.
my mum and dad saved up every week to go on that holiday.
Yeah.
Right, put money away every week to go on that holiday, whether it was 2 shillings or something, and to take me and Gary on holiday. And they are some of the nicest of my memories ever. And one time I went to Butlins, and
What Butlins did you go
Butlins
to?
Try and stop saying Butlins because we're on another type
No,
of
yeah.
holiday excursion here.
One day
You've
I
given
went-
them so much free.
One day I went to, my mum and dad one year took us to a holiday camp which was in North Wales, and by the time I got there, my neck was stiff and my neck was all leaning over to one side. and I spent the whole 2 weeks like this,
Stiff neck.
and I couldn't move because
Stuff like that happens though when you're a kid. Why is that only when you're a kid that you get stuff like that?
I don't know.
Because I remember having that. Don't they call it like a horse neck or
Crook
something?
neck.
crook neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my dad looked everywhere in every chemist to try and find some horse oils that he was going to rub into it.
We spoke about, no, you laugh, but we spoke about what Nan used to do with warts.
Yeah.
Your mum.
Yeah,
mum.
the steak.
Do you remember
Put a
that?
steak on the wart
Yeah,
and bury it.
yeah,
Weird.
was weird, very weird.
Does that not upset you then that you guys went to like what sounds like post-war holidays?
No, because
And then you have kids that are so spoiled.
No.
because they
Those holidays were fantastic.
Yeah, the
When
holidays
was the first
that
time
we
you went on an
had.
airplane then?
16 I was. Oh no, I went on a cruise. My first holiday abroad was a cruise.
Was it?
I
Where
went
did
around
you
the
go?
Greek islands. We went to Turkey.
So it wasn't.
It wasn't with my family.
Right.
It was my best friend's family. We went on a cruise.
It was a cruise.
I've just remembered that.
And
That's
how
so
was
fun.
it? Did you enjoy it?
I loved it. I was, yeah,
Different
because
to
my
this,
family
right?
could never afford to go abroad, but my mum and dad saved up so that my friend's family could take me with them. I got homesick. I was cried a lot because I missed my mum and dad, but I think I was 11 or 12, and we went on a cruise, and my mum cried because she couldn't believe her daughter was going on a cruise,
That's so
like
funny.
something so amazing.
Wow.
So that was quite, how crazy
well, that's
that I
really
forgot
going to
that.
help our NCL sponsorship. That's
How
great.
crazy is that? My first time abroad was on a cruise.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But then when was the first time you went on an airplane?
Mine was probably It was definitely 1976, and my mum and dad. First time we ever went abroad was to Benidorm,
Yeah.
and I went on the Freddie Laker jet to Benidorm.
What was a Freddie Laker?
Freddie Laker
jet?
was this guy that opened up cheap flights for the first time ever.
He was
Right,
like the
okay.
Richard Branson of the 60s.
and it was,
Right, okay.
It was cheap flights in the 70s.
How much do you
70s.
reckon? How much do you reckon that was?
Still expensive.
What's still expensive? But
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it was
Yeah.
affordable, obviously,
are you-
for
but
working
It was
class people.
affordable
But
for
okay,
the
but-
first time for
For
the working
class
man.
people,
Yeah.
yeah.
So in that instance, right, is that the first time Grandad ever's gone on a plane?
Most probably, yeah. 1976.
Surely you're absolutely pooing yourself.
No, not really. It was,
Because
it was
like,
about
we're like
excitement.
now, yeah, but our generation now, you're on planes from when you're a baby, right? And like, there's a lot of people I know, obviously, that still haven't
Yeah, but
been
your
abroad.
generation are still putting themselves.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. But like, yeah, but then back then, like,
No, we were, because the excitement overweighed fear because you didn't have an event like that.
surely when you were kids, you didn't see as many airplanes in the sky as you do now.
No, but we weren't fed the news that your generation are
Exactly.
fed.
So all of a sudden
it
you've got to get on this thing that
it
flies in
was
the air.
a most amazing like spaceship opportunity. So your excitement
Hang on a
overweighed your
minute.
fear.
It weren't the 1920s. Like, what is that up in the air?
Yeah.
What is it? It wasn't
It's
that.
the Jetsons.
We'd
Dad,
grown
you said
up
you
with
a minute ago. You said you used to put hot stones in your bed to keep warm.
Yeah, that was in my house.
It was glamorous
We
to
had
go on
to
an
do that because of the
aeroplane.
holes in the walls.
And what about like
The
sun
draft
cream
coming
and stuff
through.
like that? Do they have sun cream?
Yeah,
in there?
we had sun cream, yeah.
It never worked though. Sun cream that you never used to get kind of factors of like 20 and 30. You used to get like factor 2 and 3. And you just got burnt.
But we didn't use sun cream. We preferred oil, didn't we? And we used to burn like a crisp. I've really damaged my skin
What?
from that.
When?
In the 80s.
Oh, what? When you're a teenager?
If, that,
Yeah.
if I was thinking, I don't have many regrets, but definitely not looking after protecting my skin was one of my biggest regrets.
It was one of the things though that wasn't even spoken about in the early 80s. No one ever mentioned the fact that you could get skin cancer from sun or anything like that. You just put your
when it was fashionable to have a tan
your
and it
oil
was
on,
chic,
yeah.
and
But now people look after themselves when they go
Yeah.
on holiday, which is really good.
What was the first? So what was the first like you holiday that you went on?
what do you mean you?
Like because
Me
like,
and
all of a
Dad?
sudden, yeah, because all of a sudden, yeah, you're like all of a sudden you're in really successful 80s bands.
Oh, our
You've
first
got Doe.
holiday, I
Yeah.
remember.
You've got Doe, and
It
you
was
go
terrible.
Where?
I think Dad booked it.
Where?
We went to Poros.
I always thought that was nice.
Poros.
Our first holiday together
I always thought
was
that was
in
a nice
Poros,
one.
and
Where's
I,
holiday?
Poros in Greece, right? So
I don't even remember where it was, but it
Poros.
was so quiet. And when I was younger, I had quite a lot of energy, a very active mind, and needed to be kept entertained. And Dad loved sunbathing, so Dad could just sit on the sunbed with the biggest smile on his face, looking at the sun. After an hour, I'm tapping like, right, what are we doing? What are we doing? And he would just lay there smiling at the sun.
But that was always the most boring part of when we were kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sunbathing.
Yeah.
You always hated it.
Hated it.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen you sunbathe actually.
But
now that's me. I've turned more into Dad now.
Yeah.
Where
No,
it's like,
sunbathes always bored me. Really boring.
Yeah, but when you were a kid, it all changed. You know, when you came along, when you were like 5 or 6, all of a sudden holidays came and changed because it wasn't about us anymore. It was about keeping you and Harley happy.
yeah, but me and Harley had the most outrageous holidays you can ever imagine. Like, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, what does
Where did you go?
spoiled kids' holidays look like? Well, that was our holidays.
What?
Well, a lot of our holidays did revolve around George Michael, though.
Yeah, we were really lucky because
They
he
did,
had
'cause
a
every year we'd
beautiful
go to
house in,
Saint-Tropez.
in south
yeah.
of France.
Yeah.
And he really loved us going there and using it because he wasn't there all the time. And he always used to say to me, "You can always go and use my house in South France. Take the kids."
Yeah.
That spoiled me as well because
remember when
where
I
else?
nearly died?
Yes, that was. I can't even talk about that.
Why
Right?
can't you talk about it?
don't.
Just makes me too.
We've spoken about it before, right?
It was the worst moment of my life. I can't tell you. It put me into shock for several days. I was lying there by the pool with my eyes closed, looking up at the sun, and all of a sudden, for some reason, I opened my eyes and I saw you under the water in the pool. And I saw you splashing around. And I jumped in, looked down at you, and I had this crashing memory of your face under the water looking up at me with your bright blue eyes, and me looking down at you and just dragging you out. But you had stepped into the water, and you know the jets on the side of the pool?
Yeah.
The little jets, they push you out into the middle.
Do you know the weirdest thing? I remember it.
Yeah.
I must have been, what, 5?
Yeah. The terrible thing is, I went to the market and then
Yeah.
I felt guilty that I'd gone to the market in Saint-Tropez and got back and saw Dad, and then I blamed myself that I wasn't there.
Oh,
So you, as a parent, you're just
What,
like,
did you tell Mum what happened?
of course he
Yeah.
did. He
Why?
was because he was
Because
Ro, he
I
was
was in
gone, yeah,
bits.
it's
he
fine.
was shaking.
I was crying my eyes
Dad
out.
was beside himself and said
Yeah,
something
I had
really terrible happened.
I had terrible PTSD over it.
He did,
You know,
and I don't. and I
I
understand.
remember basically going into the pool and not having armbands on.
You most probably hated them.
Not having the armbands on. And what's so weird is the memory I have of it is all of a sudden being at the bottom of the pool and looking up, but being at the bottom of the pool and looking up and seeing he had like a crocodile lilo.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Going over the top.
looking and seeing that lilo,
Like Captain
and then
Hook.
over the left of me is you jumping in
Yeah.
and seeing that, and then that.
Yeah.
But do you remember you would have had, I think, your Batman toys. So
Yeah, I had
you,
Batman
you
toys in
never
there.
went anywhere without these Batman toys.
Yeah.
So I think what happened, you were playing on the edge of the pool. One must have fallen in. You must have gone
No,
to
I
grab
remember
it.
physically walking in.
Oh, you did walk in.
I remember I walked. I get literally like
And the little jets
It's not
that are
even
on the
one. It's
side
not
get
even
you
one of
and
them.
push
It's
you.
not even one of them. That's like. Oh, I'm kind of like, what's it called? Biased memory of it. Genuinely, I can see it. I can see the pool. I can see the. And I know I've walked in, and then that's how it's
Terrifying.
happened. But bringing up the Batman toys, one's still in Barbados.
That's right. Yeah, they went
That was the
everywhere.
most upsetting thing in the world.
But the thing is, you didn't like going on the sandy beach. So we were like, well, let's take the toys on the beach. And Dad was brilliant at playing Batman games with you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think you and Dad were building all these kind of like sand castles, like for Batman.
Laughing at the penis, man.
Laughing at the drink. So Dad was brilliant, you playing Batman toys with you. And then I think the tide came in and washed all the castle. And then all of a sudden we realised, one of the toys has gone.
No, I buried it.
Oh, you actually buried it?
I buried it.
I thought it got sunk in the sand.
Oh, well, then maybe that was it.
Maybe you're right. I don't know.
So is it still
But
there?
Well, yeah, it must be.
You were so upset. And we did go out.
I still remember
We were
it.
crawling around on our
Yeah.
hands and knees, scraping up, like, where is the
I
other
know.
Batman toy?
I
Do you know
know.
what one it was? Was it the Joker, Robin,
No, I don't
Batman?
know. I don't know, but I just remember that was like one of the worst memories of holidays when I was a kid. And there's another one. The worst memory that I have as a kid is how sunburnt I got my chest.
Oh, you were
Where
a
were we?
nightmare.
Because we weren't with
No,
Dad.
no. Because we used to go on holiday with my friend Kath and
Yeah.
the kids. So you had other friends to go on holiday with. So Kath was our neighbour.
Yeah.
So she had 2 kids, boy and a girl, same age as you, and Harley. And I cannot remember. We went to Cyprus once. We went to quite a few places.
Yeah.
May have been Cyprus. And you were a nightmare to put sun cream on. I would say, Ro, come here, let me put, I don't want the cream on. Like, really hysterical about cream. Anyway, I managed to get as much as I could, miss this tiny part around the top of your chest.
Yeah.
And then I noticed in the evening you were walking round, but you had your T-shirt in your mouth.
Yeah.
And you're like sucking on your T. And I'm saying, why are you doing that with your T-shirt? Nothing. And I was going, Ro, what's the matter? And then I saw all your chest was bright
Except for my
red.
handprint.
Oh, my handprint.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to put the cream on you
Yeah.
and you're running away.
Yeah. I remember another thing from that holiday. I was
And-
absolutely... Do you remember I was absolutely fuming?
Why?
Because you and Kath did a dance thing. You got pulled into a dance competition.
And you told Dad straight away that Mum's danced with another man.
some Cypriot fella.
Yeah, you
Like,
rang
he's
Dad.
gone.
When we spoke to Dad, Mum's danced with another man.
Yeah.
I was like, Ro, I didn't dance. Yes, you did. Mum danced. And I did dance with another man. But it was like doing a limbo
It was
under a
absolutely
pole.
disgraceful.
We were walking past and they said, come on, like join
Yeah.
in the dancing. And I'm like, what? I still had my money belt around me where we'd just been out all
Yeah.
day. And I remember so it was like a pole dance, not pole dance,
Yeah, pole dance.
limbo,
Jesus
not pole
Christ.
dance, sorry.
Where did we go?
Pole dancing for some sort of
No, it
fella
wasn't
in
a pole
Cyprus.
dance, it was a limbo.
Where did you take your kids? Well, I went pole dancing.
No, it was in the reception of the hotel, but you couldn't wait to tell Dad that I'd danced with another man. You were so upset about it.
Shirley,
Yeah.
where did we go that time when we got there and Roman didn't like it, so we had to go somewhere else?
Where?
South of France.
We went to south of France.
No. Did we go to Italy? No. We took you on your first skiing holiday. I think Harley had gone. No, what had happened? Harley had gone skiing with the school,
Yeah.
and we felt like you were left out of the experience, and we felt really sad. So we said, well, we'll take you to Chamonix. So me, you, and Dad went to Chamonix.
Yeah.
And you absolutely
That was horrendous.
hated it.
Yeah.
You were like, I don't want to be here. I want to go to Rome. And we both went, Rome? Look, he's a genius. He wants to go to the Colosseum. He wants history. He
What,
doesn't
did we
want
actually
snow.
do that?
I think
No,
we
we
did.
didn't.
Yeah,
we went
yeah,
home.
yeah.
I think we went to Rome.
Yeah. I said, pack your bags, Shirley. Ro wants to go to Rome.
But you got to remember the reason why Dad and I.
We actually went.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we've
Christ,
done
your
this.
bad parents.
No, no,
is
because we
that?
thought, well, Rome's such an amazing historical place that how exciting. And I was a bit bored, to be honest with you. Chamonix.
Yeah, a bit boring.
Yeah, it's a bit boring. I don't like boring
Why
holidays.
have we never done skiing holiday? We never do skiing
We
holidays.
don't know.
Well,
we don't do
I've
it.
done my skiing days, and I had an accident, lost my confidence, and never got back on the
Yeah,
slopes.
me too.
I
yeah,
think
big
I
accident.
don't want to get injured.
Yeah, big
I
accident.
think skiing looks fun, though. I love it when I see it.
It's fun, but you do think.
Oh,
like,
listen, I've got worse
if someone goes to me, yeah, me and the family are going to Val d'Isère this year. I just thought, actually, turn around and like, wanker. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, don't.
No, I think skiing
holiday
is
is
fantastic.
no,
It's a
Oh.
you
beautiful
can tell a
holiday.
skier a mile off.
It's a beautiful holiday.
You
It
can
really
tell a
is.
skier
It's a
a
proper
mile
sportsman's holiday, I think.
No, it's not.
No,
It is, you've got
you don't
to-
have to be a sportsman.
You do. Oh, the funniest thing is trying to get off the ski lift. And I do watch videos about people trying to get off the ski lift and they end up going back round and flying off of it.
That sounds like the most boring TikTok session ever. Like,
Skiing holidays are, they are hard work. They're
Anyway,
physically hard work.
You got bored with being on.
So we took you to Rome.
Skiing holiday.
Rome.
So we went to Rome.
And you loved
is that where I
pasta.
got an ear infection? Yeah, it was. Remember it.
Oh, really?
Remember it.
Maybe that's why you
That's
weren't
where-
feeling well
no.
anyway.
Tell everyone what the mild tick was that I used to have when I was a kid.
I don't know.
Yes, you do. About
What?
my ear. You used to really tell me off about it, and it started going
Tell
to
me.
Rome.
Right, I've forgotten.
Going like this.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, the sniff and the
That's
nod
that
of
was
the
good.
head.
I thought you were copying someone.
How did
on
we
telly.
get? How did we get you out of that then?
It was like my ears would always pop so bad.
Yeah.
Like, and they still do it now.
Yeah,
I still
yeah.
do that now.
Right.
And then my ears, every time we'd go on an airplane, it like the ears
Not
would pop so
decompressed.
bad. And the only way I could do it is like if I sniffed in really hard with my nose and then like pushed my ear into my
And
shoulder.
all you need to
Yeah,
do is
yeah.
hold your nose and blow out, most
No,
probably.
it don't work like that. But like, poor you guys, like walking around with some kid, like just going.
I was going to get you some horse oil to rub in. You
Yeah.
know,
But that's what I'm saying. But like, we do have great holidays. There's one holiday that I'm upset that I never went on,
what?
and Harley went on.
What?
Because it's a flex to say it.
Yeah.
You went to the island.
Oh, Richard Branson's island.
A big thank you to the sponsor of this series of FFS, My Dad is Martin Kemp, Norwegian Cruise Line, or NCL for short. Can you believe that not that long ago we were sailing the Caribbean, Dad?
Honestly, Ro, take me back. I mean, what were your highlights?
I'm not going to lie, I went into it prepared to love the Concorde Speedway, one of the only racetracks at sea, and an NCL exclusive experience, or probably the Aquapark, featuring 2 multi-story water slides. I mean, come on. But I actually loved the downtime. It
Tell me about it. We couldn't get you out the spa. What was that treatment you loved again?
was the LMS facial, actually. What about you? What were your highlights?
For me, it was the food and drink. You, me and Shirley, we probably ate the best we've eaten in years. I mean, there was so much to choose from every night.
Yeah, I remember well. You struggled to choose.
Yeah, I mean, it was a challenge, wasn't it? Was I in the mood for steak, or perhaps popping into the French bistro, a Japanese restaurant, or even that Italian cuisine? I tell you what, Ro, I just enjoyed it all.
Yes, I remember very well. You were looking through the menu for 2 hours. Norwegian Cruise Line offers more with its brand new More at Sea package. More to see, more to do, more to enjoy.
You went to why?
Neker Island. We went to
Yes, you
Neker
went to
Island
Neker
with
Island.
George, right, with Yog.
That was
So what's Neker Island? What is it?
It's one beautiful, huge house. I remember, so as you're walking down the hill, because it's kind of like slightly
For
mountainous,
those people that don't know, this is the one
It's
that
in the
Richard
British Virgin
Branson.
Islands.
in the Virgin
Yeah.
Islands.
So Richard Branson owns this.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
he
yeah,
bought a
private
house
owned.
there and turned it into, you could rent this house.
Did he own the house or the
The
whole
whole
gaff?
island, the whole place.
Whole place.
And then as you walk down, as you're going towards the beach, I just remember finding boxes and just cold drinks everywhere. I mean,
Box? What do you mean box?
boxes, ice boxes of drinks. It was
Just
like, oh my
everywhere.
God, just opening if you wanted wine, beers, cold drinks. I was just like throwing, that was incredible. Just everything was, it's one of those holidays where everything's thought of.
I will set the scene, right?
Yeah.
The scene is, so Yog, it was, what birthday was it? One of his birthdays.
40th
40th
maybe?
birthday.
Or
and he
30th?
took me,
I was
Shirley.
pregnant with you. You did go.
Hang on.
No,
Wait a
that
sec,
doesn't
wait,
count.
wait,
I
wait.
hate when parents
Wait.
do that. You were there.
I was
well,
3
you were in my
months
tummy, but
pregnant
you were
with
there. I
you.
wasn't there.
Let me set the scene, right? It was Yog's 40th birthday. So he decided to go on holiday with 20 of his friends. So he hired a DC-10 that we all went on.
What's that?
DC-10 jet.
That's a nightclub
it's
in
proper,
Ibiza.
no, it's a proper jet, right?
It's a jet.
Yeah, proper jet.
Right.
And a DC-10 jet, and we all flew down to Neker Island together and stayed
long
on there
flight,
for a
isn't it? That's a
week.
long flight, isn't it?
It was beautiful.
Yeah, it's a couple of aeroplanes, but I just realised it
In the
must have been
Virgin
his
Islands, it was
30th
beautiful.
because I was 30 and that's when I was pregnant with Rose. So it would
his
have been
30th.
Yog's 30th,
Right,
not his
30th,
40th.
right.
Yeah.
And then but Harley came.
Well,
Harley learnt to swim in Neker Island.
Harley was 3.
How have you wangled that?
You
though,
were-
being able to say, oh yeah, by the way, we've got
Mum
to bring
was
our
pregnant
3-year-old
with
kid.
you.
Yeah, I mean, in those days, people didn't really want you to take your children. It wasn't, most things were child-free zones.
Yeah.
But I'm like, he knew I wouldn't go without Harley. I said, I'm not coming unless I can bring Harley.
Right.
So there was just Harley, and there was another little girl, Lauren,
Right.
who came, which was lovely. And because Lauren Farrow.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah. And I remember Harley learning to swim in Neker Island, but when she swam, she could not stop laughing. For some reason, it gave her the hysterical laughter.
Yeah.
And all I said was, stop laughing. And then she's swallowing the water. And if she could stop laughing, she
In
would
the
have
sea?
swum. She learnt in this tiny little pool round by it wasn't that small. It was like a lagoon pool by the house. It was beautiful. And then she went in the sea, but I put a life jacket on her when she went around the sea because it's strong.
It was such a beautiful experience, to be honest with you. I've got one of my fondest memories of Yog, right, on that trip, where there were probably about 15 of us that had all gone scuba diving. And in the Virgin Islands, there's lots of like these coral tunnels that you can scuba dive through. The most amazing colours, the pinks, the blues, the oranges. And there's all these kind of little hills that pop out every now and again to have a look where you're going.
Yeah.
And so there's about 15 of us and we're all swimming through these tunnels. And I look round and I see Yog behind. And even through his mask, I could see him smiling. And it was one of the nicest memories I have, that he could do that for his friends.
Yeah.
Didn't you say you had a barracuda chasing you? Or is that
Yeah,
just-
at one point, yeah.
you had to wrestle?
At one point.
Yeah, well, with a barracuda, they do chase anything that's shiny. And at that point, my ego was big,
Yeah.
and it was shining.
What was shiny?
Well, my ego, I suppose. But no, barracudas chase anything.
Would you have a
that's
watch on
shiny.
or something like that?
Yeah, watch. They chase anything that's sparkling in the sun.
I know.
was
I do remember you saying.
Am
oh
I
my
making
God,
it,
barracuda.
am I making it up about Harley being with some stingray or something? What was that?
No, I can't even talk about that.
Why can't you talk about that?
Yeah.
It gives me really bad anxiety.
That's the whole point of it. We're on a podcast.
Yeah,
You got to
yeah.
talk.
Go on, you say it.
Oh, you
Okay,
tell what happened.
so they took us out on this big boat one day, and I'm pregnant with you. Me and you were on the boat together then.
Yeah.
You're in Neker Island with me.
No, I'm not. Yeah.
So I was kind of, not doing anything, jumping off boats, swimming anywhere. Dad got off the boat with everyone and they went swimming in the sea. Harley has gone hysterical because she wants to be with Dad.
Right.
And now she's running up and down, having a real full-blown tantrum. And one of the guys said to me, who worked on the boat, oh, she's safe in there. Put the life vest on her, let her go with her dad. I don't know what. To this day, another big regret. I just gave up because I was scared she was going to jump off the boat and get to Dad anyway.
Yeah.
So Harley gets lowered in the sea with where they're all swimming, and then he's going, oh, look at the stingrays. And I just froze. I was paralysed.
Right. It was an amazing sight.
The stingrays
right?
around my
Right.
3-year-old child.
Let me
I'm
tell you something.
frozen with
It
fear. I
was
can't even talk.
It was
like
an,
Moana or
It was
something.
an amazing sight. Harley, tiny little kid in this
Fearless.
rubber ring, right? Not a rubber ring. You know the rings.
Fearless. Mark, you can't give her
in the-
fearless.
She
Yeah.
was
She's
fearless.
Listen.
She just wanted to be with Dad.
Hang on a minute. Harley in this ring that they throw out for, a life-saving ring.
Yeah.
She's in the middle of that. And I'm looking down at Harley. And there's this massive,
don't.
5-foot manta ray that swims directly underneath her. And it was the most incredible sight. The most incredible thing I've ever seen.
3-year-old can be scary for a 3-year-old. She was not scared at all.
She
And
doesn't
that's
like
the
it
only-
now, though. Because when we were kids, I remember she didn't like fishes. Was that me?
No, I think that was me.
It was you.
Yeah. We went swimming with dolphins one year.
Yeah, I know.
I was terrified. It started I thought the dolphin was attacking me.
Oh,
Because they can get,
dolphins?
yes,
Yeah.
I know what
Yeah.
you're going to
Dolphins.
say. Yes,
Dolphins.
get
Don't get
sexual.
them excited.
And I'm not joking. I think the dolphin was getting
She had flashbacks to the Donkey Derby at that point.
Yeah.
because it was kind of hitting me with the end of its tail on my feet.
You sure it's his
That's
tail?
it.
or-
Well,
One of
this
his
is what-
tails,
Yeah.
But he was really kind of coming, just kept coming for me all the time, and I was thinking, I want to get out. I didn't.
Did you know about the horny dolphin thing?
No,
before?
not then. But everyone said the dolphin experience, the most spiritual experience you can have. Where were we? The
Hawaii?
Bahamas, Hawaii, because I always loved Hawaii.
Yeah.
And it was my dream to swim with dolphins. I couldn't get out of there quick enough.
Yeah.
And then the turtles came, and then they were biting me.
Yeah, I've been bit by turtles.
Yeah.
They hurt.
So sea creatures don't like me, so I'm scared of the sea, and I don't really
Where were you bit by
volunteer.
a turtle then?
I was bit by a turtle in Mexico. And I went to Tulum in Mexico. And you go into these cenotes, and they're underground.
Yeah.
And they're unbelievable. Like you go to it's like water and you just swim down and whatever. but they got these like turtles, and like people were like taking pictures of these turtles.
Everyone's loving them.
This thing bit the fuck out of me. Like it hurt, like really hurt. Not as bad as I went to Jamaica, and I got into the water, and there was like sea lice.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever
I've never
experienced
heard
sea
of that.
lice.
Right.
Oh
How big are
my God. You can't see it. But I was in the water, and all of a sudden my body felt like it was on fire, like in the water. And it's just like my whole body, it was
They were
like
attacking
tingling
you.
and like on fire. Crazy.
I've never heard of
Did
sea
you
lice.
step on an urchin when we were a kid?
Yeah, when I was a kid. Yeah. Big,
Someone-
not an urchin, but a massive jellyfish.
Oh, yeah, no.
that stung me. Yeah, it was so
Harley
badly.
got done by a jellyfish.
That's when we were on holiday with Kath and
Joe had to wee on her.
And I kept saying to Joe, wee on Harley.
Yeah.
And Harley is horrified, screaming at me like, what is my mum telling Joe? And Joe was looking at me like, as I
Yeah.
was mad. But everyone kept saying which I
It's
don't
got to
think
be
is
said,
true.
by the way, Joe was a young boy, same age as Harley at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were the kids, but yeah.
But that is mental.
Needless to say, he didn't pee on her.
No.
But you, Ro, you've done a lot of travelling, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been lucky. I think.
Hey?
Did you have a spiritual experience when you were swimming with dolphins when we were on that holiday?
No, but I'll tell you where I did. This was. I like. The thing is, real holidays for me. I like experiences, but what I mean is that I think I'm more. I like to think I'm more adventurous than I am than what I do, because I think that the holidays that I do go on and want to see something. Like the wildest holiday that I went on last time went to the border of North Korea.
Yeah.
Mental.
That I wouldn't call that a holiday.
That's a holiday for me. Mental. Like,
And
you
what
know,
was that
it's
like? Tell us that.
So like you go to Seoul
Yeah.
in South Korea, and it's only like an hour and a half away. Like North Korea is only an hour and a half away. Like Seoul, one of the most like, advanced cities on this planet, right?
But the DMZ zone's about an
The
hour
DMZ,
long, isn't
so
it?
you got the thing called the DMZ, which is the demilitarized zone, right? And then you go there, and then as you get in there, you've got you've got to go through all these security clearances. This is the worst bit, right?
Yeah.
Get this.
You got to dodge some machine guns and
Yeah, exactly.
like the
So
electric
basically,
wires.
like the government, like something I can't remember really what our guide told us, but the government basically allows X amount of tourist buses to go a day, or in a week or whatever, right? And they have to clear them and so on. When we went to Korea, got on the bus, right? And I'm thinking, this is great. What a holiday. Going to Korea, you don't see any English people. You don't see, do you know what I mean? Like, because you don't want to bump into people who start asking you about the one show.
Yeah.
Right? And so we get there. As I've got on the bus, right, considering 6 buses a day, like in that week or whatever, that they're only a limited amount. The bus we get on is a sixth form school from England. I'm taking pictures, right? I'm being asked for selfies.
Were you doing
on
Capital
the
at that
border
time?
of Korea? Yeah. Border of Korea.
How bizarre.
Like North Korea. Like that's I'd say that's from that holiday was the weirdest place I've ever been asked for a selfie in my life.
Were you nice or were you rude
Of
to them?
course. No, I am
Good.
nice.
He's always
You always have to be
nice.
nice.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that like it's no matter what anyone says, right? No matter how nice a so-called celebrity, is, they do not like to be asked that stuff when they're on
No,
holiday.
but Ro, once I was going on a holiday and I ended up, the whole plane was singing gold.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. Here's a big memory from when we were on holiday at kids, right? And not a lot of people, no one will be able to relate to this other than you guys.
Yeah.
Right? So you can explain what it's like. So we'd be on the beach, and all of a sudden you see a boat quite far away, and that boat is stationary. And what is that boat doing?
Taking pictures.
Go on, explain that. Because that's wild. For people that don't understand that, it's mental.
That's one of the reasons I stopped going to Europe, because we got papped a few times. And we were on, do you remember we were on like a big banana
Oh, that
boat
was the
thing?
best one.
Yeah.
And they got pictures and I cried
You
my
cried non-stop.
eyes out.
The best
because-
pictures.
Hang on a
in the world.
minute, hang on. The thing is, Mum spent so long, right, the month before we went on holiday saying, I hope we don't get paps. I hope, what can I wear just in case we do get paps? And I said, look, you will not get paps. Don't worry about it. It's the first magazine we open up, right? There's the banana boat. Mum is halfway up in the sky, about 4 foot,
Legs,
right, screaming. screaming.
legs akimbo, underwear.
Legs akimbo,
God.
right?
God.
And she's like up in the air.
I was mortified, and that stopped me going to Europe. It stopped me going on beaches.
Why were you
So-
in Barbados or something like that?
Sorry,
I thought we were
no,
in
I think we
Barbados
were in Mallorca.
There's certain
Richard
places.
Branson's
there's-
another Richard
Oh,
Branson
no, don't get me
moment.
wrong. It was a brilliant picture.
No,
It
but
was. It
I
was
cried.
brilliant.
I cried a week. Didn't want to leave the house. That's why we kind of went to America a lot when you were younger, literally because Dad and I, no one recognised Dad. And so if no one recognised Dad, then we could all relax.
Yeah. Would you prefer to go on a holiday that's further away? Like now, you guys don't really go on holiday now.
We don't
No.
holiday that much.
No, we don't really.
Why?
Well, because I'm quite
Don't say
happy.
money. That's not the
What?
case. You can't be like, oh, the money. Poor, aren't I?
No,
No, it's nothing to do with money. It's we're quite happy as we are.
So basically, what I just heard that is you want to go on holiday. He doesn't want to go on holiday.
I go on holiday with my girlfriends.
Right. Okay. All right. Dancing with
like-
fellas in Cyprus, is it? Yeah.
I go on holiday with friends because
Because he's
Dad-
boring.
he's boring. He just likes to sunbathe.
I try and explain this all the time, and I don't think Dad doesn't necessarily understand that because he's not the type of person. Because Dad, you and I are very similar in
Very
some
similar.
ways.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I used to hate it when we used to go for dinner and people would be looking over,
Yeah.
and I'd always notice when people are staring.
Yeah. And I'm still the same.
Yeah.
That still affects me now. Dad
Yeah.
will say, should we go and get something to eat? And I'm thinking, no, we won't. I'll make you anything you want as long as we don't have to go out.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because I'm really affected by people staring.
Yeah, me too.
And Dad's kind of not aware of it we are hypersensitive and aware.
But that's why it's the worst thing when you go on a holiday and then that happens.
Yeah.
But then here's another thing.
That's
right?
why Mum, right, locks me in. She says,
Right.
"You're not going up the shops. You're
Yeah.
not going to on holiday."
Right.
She locks. But that's why on this boat, I am
He's been
so
let
happy.
out.
In
He
reality.
Can't tell you.
He's walking around
Yeah,
everywhere.
living actual
and
life.
you've got to hurry
Yeah.
up because I'm
This is
playing bingo in
reality.
a minute.
Yeah, all right. But look, so the my thing as well on this, right? I've got an innate fear. Do you not have this fear, right? Because, Mum, you're not, but Dad, you're old. So,
Yeah.
do you not have that fear that you're going to die
Oh, no.
and not have seen everything?
Ro, I've seen everything.
Twice.
You ain't.
I've
He
seen
has.
everything.
He's seen
I've done
everything
it.
twice.
I've done it. I've done it twice, and I absolutely loved it.
But like that's what I mean. But for me, it's like I. Let's be real, right? You guys had worldwide tours and you could do all that type of stuff to see.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm like, no. I want to say that I've seen. I've walked it.
But then,
Do you know what I mean?
isn't that the perfect example of why we took you away to all those wonderful holidays that we were lucky enough to afford it?
No,
right?
I've got-
That you
totally.
didn't have to have hot stones put in your bed, right, when
Yeah.
you were young, because I could afford to put the heating on.
Fine.
And I could afford to save up to take you to some incredible
But
places.
where are the places you haven't been? It must be places that you haven't been that you're like, I need to go there.
Of course,
Before
yeah.
I die, got to go there. Where?
Of course, yeah.
I'd like to go to New Orleans, Hampton Islands.
You want to go to New? What? That's where
I'd
you want
like
to go
to
before
see.
you die.
Oh, well, no, just... What do you mean before I die? I just
Because
want...
I mean, but
there's
Well,
one place.
there's
the
just
one
some places
place.
I haven't been there. I'd
Go
like
on.
to go to the Hampton Islands.
right. Okay.
I'd
yeah.
like to see that, please, if
Right.
you want to organise anything
Right,
like
okay.
Why?
that.
Because
Yeah.
the way they decorate their houses.
Yeah, because it's
Where's that, New
aesthetically
York?
pleasing.
Yeah, it's an
it's
island
kind
off
of
of New
East
York.
Coast.
Rich
yeah,
people, New York,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Mine has to be the one place I would absolutely have to go to are the pyramids.
Yes,
Because I
you
am
need to go to
obsessed with the
Egypt.
Egyptians.
I have to get Dad to Egypt.
And that
Why
is
do
the
you
one
not want to
place.
go to Egypt? Why would you not want to go
Because
and see
we
the
have watched
pyramids?
so many. He watches documentaries on the pyramids most nights.
I told you.
Yeah.
I
know.
feel like I know everything you need to know.
What's your
I've
favourite
seen
fact about
every
pyramids?
documentary on the pyramids, and I feel like I've done it. But I would like to go because I'm sure it's an amazing experience. And as you know, we have some family history
Yeah, we do,
in
yeah.
Egypt. So that would be amazing to
For
kind
those
of.
people listening to this, go and watch mine and my dad's
DNA
episodes. That
journey.
DNA journey, absolute mental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turns out, my mum's great granddad used to drive the train for the King of Egypt for 40 years, and the train was solid gold.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, it's just a
pull
little
that
bit
out.
of family history.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But okay, I understand that. I want to go to Antarctica.
Fantastic. I've done it.
No, you haven't.
I've done
Yes,
it.
he has.
yeah,
He
done
swam
it.
in.
That's the Arctic.
Well, I've done one of them.
pole fella.
Well, it's
What is
and
it? North
something.
one or south one?
South.
Oh, south. Well,
yeah.
I did one of them. They're both the same.
Yeah,
Once
I'm
you get
sure
up
once
there-
you get there,
What
it's
about
all.
like, okay.
If you get up or you go down, they're both the same.
Your generation are just left to go to space, really. You're the next
Would you do that?
space.
Would you do that if they said,
Yeah,
okay,
I think I would.
holiday capable in space? This
I
is
think it'd
one of my
be
favorite one of my favorite questions. What's the percentile chance that you'd have to be able to come back alive?
All
But
depends
you
what
get to
depends what age I am. The older I get, I wouldn't care.
You wouldn't care.
If
Okay,
you put
right
me
now.
up there at 75,
That's a good answer, see? That's got you.
Yeah, but
Stumped you.
that's a trick question.
That's a
It's not a trick question.
answer.
No, it's
No,
not.
because
No, that's
you're not.
stumped you.
Imagine-
Okay, well, I'll change the parameters for you.
Yeah, go on
Yeah.
then.
I'll change the parameters based on that question.
Yeah.
You're now.
now
You're the age that you are right now.
Don't need
I
to
say
go
to you,
now.
You have one opportunity. No. You have one opportunity right now, in the age that you are, to have a holiday or like to fly to space, right? And then you can see the Earth, you can see all the thing, but there is a
Percentage you might not come
20%
back.
chance you don't come back.
I'm not going to do that because my
15%
No,
chance.
because I want to be there for
10%
you,
chance.
Harley and Dad.
10%
Nothing.
chance.
No.
5% chance.
You're talking to your mother.
5%.
There you go. Everyone's got
5%.
a number. See, there's no number. There's no 5%. I'm in.
Well, that's pretty low, isn't it? 5%.
Do you know right now, I found out this the other day, there's an asteroid heading to us and there's a 2.9% chance it's going to hit us.
Who told you that?
NASA.
Yeah.
And
2.9, that's quite high.
When did you speak to them then?
I'm surprised we haven't been hit by more asteroids.
They burn up on and
Yeah.
It won't happen. But I think the now. Did any of you ever fly on Concorde?
Yes.
Go on and talk to me about this because everyone. Why is that like such a myth?
I did a celebrity afternoon on Concorde.
What does that mean?
So all the press came and they'd got there were pop stars and
Yeah.
celebrities, and we did a flight to Paris and back.
When?
Quick, yeah, but
It was fantastic.
Paris.
It was the
Hang on.
takeoff. Yeah,
they
it
want to
was-
show off how quick they can do it. They go to Paris.
Yeah, only Paris.
Wait
Yeah,
a minute.
That's crap.
but no, the experience with Concorde isn't the actual flying, like the journey, the takeoff and the landing. That's the only experience you have with Concorde. Unbelievable. You take off and so quick, and you land, and you're like, we've landed.
So how quick did you do it?
Well,
5
I don't
minutes?
know.
5 minutes? What?
Mark
yeah.
two.
Oh
Give me a
no, well, the
ballpark.
whole journey would have been an hour.
Yeah, but flying to Paris
What,
now
to
is an hour.
Paris?
Flying
No,
to
there
Paris
and
now
back.
is
You
an
go
hour.
there and
Paris,
back.
40 minutes.
No, I'm saying. Oh, it just took off, then came back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me. Can I explain? Right.
Yeah.
At the end
Yeah,
of
I think we
Concorde's
just did a
life.
circle.
Wait a minute. At the end of Concorde's life, right, when they couldn't get anybody to go on it anymore. Right, this is true because it
Why?
was so expensive.
Right.
They used to do these 2-hour joyrides.
Yeah.
Right, and they used to stick
The
it up, and
experience.
you used to go up. And to launch that, they put a load of celebrities on it, and they took them up for 2 hours and flew around.
Those
and then
celebrities
landed
being
again.
Pepsi and Shirley.
Did you land in Paris?
I don't think we
She
did.
didn't go to Paris.
She just said you went to Paris on
She
Concorde.
didn't
Go
go
to
to Paris.
Paris. I think that was the
She
what
went
you were
round in a
told.
circle.
You fly over Paris. You fly from London. You
That,
fly
honest
over
to God,
Paris.
sounds like the most pointless use of Concorde I've
No,
ever heard.
no,
Has anyone? Has
it
either
was
of
so
you-
low.
Did
Pen-
either
I
of
think
you?
you're missing the point.
I'm not missing the point.
experience of Concorde was how fast you take off was incredible,
Right.
and how fast you land, but you're really not feeling it. Whereas you feel the pull. You know, when you're on a normal aeroplane,
Yeah.
you're going along the runway and
The
you're like,
thrust.
whoa, you can feel it. You did not feel that on
Do
Concorde.
you know what though? Even though you didn't go anywhere on Concorde, you just went round in a circle, right? I would have given anything now to be on that plane because it's one of the things that I would have loved to have done. is
You never
gone
did
on
it?
No, I never did it. No.
It's quite funny on the way out here, wasn't it?
What?
You two
What?
stuck. I got bumped up.
I knew you were going to say this.
Bit awkward.
Yeah, well.
out of the three of us, who got bumped up to first class?
You always were the
Yeah,
lucky one, Ray.
You didn't even send down any caviar.
Nope.
Didn't
Nope.
check on us, see how we
no,
were.
Didn't want to check on you. No, not at all.
Oh no, you didn't come down
They
once.
wouldn't let me
to
through
say
the
hi.
curtain. I kept saying, no, it's my son, let
No,
me in.
I was going to say, yeah, on that flight, I had an inability to turn right on the plane.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it was pretty tasty.
couldn't go any
Although
further.
airports are one of my worst places on this planet. Airports, I hate them.
You should go. Have you? When was the last time you walked around with Dad? It's a nightmare.
No,
you have
trust me.
security
No.
people
I know exactly
screaming,
what it's
it's
like.
Martin Kemp.
Mum, I know exactly what it's like, and it's not the other people that make an airport experience with Dad difficult. It's Dad. Dad makes it the most difficult thing. Trying to explain, I take you back to the Euros final. this last year.
Oh, yes.
Trying
yes.
to explain to Dad that you can get a connecting flight was mental. And how you do it.
Because
That you can just walk there, you get on a plane, it takes you there, then you wait a little bit, then you get on another plane. Couldn't understand it.
Of course, well, I can understand it. It's just
Do you
Dad
like it?
No, he doesn't like it because he gets really stressed because he's going to get recognised. So Dad just wants to get there, hide in the lounge, come out of the lounge, then just get to the seat by the window. He always sits in the window so I can hide. And as people get on, I kerfuffle around him so no one spots him.
The problem is, I grew up with a tour manager, right? I was always like lagging behind with a band, had a tour manager, checked me in,
Didn't
put
know
me
what
on
day of the
plane,
week it
Yeah,
was.
no,
said, eh?
You don't really know how
Said,
to do it. on your own.
I'll
No, he
get you off
doesn't know.
at the other end.
That's it.
And I'm his tour manager now.
Yeah, now you're the
Now
tour
I'm the
manager.
tour manager.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. Well, look, I think we can leave it there.
Well, happy holidays.
See, that wasn't as bad as you thought, was it?
Oh, I really enjoyed that.
No, I think
It
you
wasn't
two.
as bad as I thought. No, Ro.
you two didn't go very dark and deep and crude, and you kept it.
No,
quite
if anyone,
nice.
you did.
Yeah.
No, I
The
didn't.
most
Ro.
disgusting parts of this
No,
podcast have been
please
from you.
Don't ruin that lovely memory I have of me
Well,
and my
it's-
dad.
It's been. Oh,
My
not
dad
even-
being so proud of me at that moment.
Oh God.
You've ruined it now.
Oh, okay, fine. Well, look, thanks so much for listening. Dad, you can tell everyone where to go and find all the clips and things like that.
You want to go to FFS? My dad is right on YouTube,
Yeah, good.
TikTok, and Instagram.
There you
Oh,
go.
come on.
All the
Finally.
social media.
And then you can shout out Mum's Instagram if you want to put yours in there. If you
Well,
want.
at Shirlie Kemp.
Yeah, but you can tell everyone that you don't spell it. It really annoys me when people spell your name the wrong
Yeah.
way.
Well, I'm going to tell you something.
Go on.
My name is spelled EY. But when I was really little,
Yeah.
about 7 years old, I felt really embarrassed of my name. And I thought EY was old fashioned, so I put IE on it. So I changed it, but I didn't legally change it. So that came from when I was a little girl. Have you only
What?
just found that out?
Yeah.
That I'm not really spelled EY.
No.
I am spelled EY, really.
So when you go to like the bank and stuff, well, probably shouldn't.
Well,
talk
we
about
shouldn't
that.
talk about that.
Yeah, all right, yeah, fine.
Yeah.
All right, we'll leave it there.
Yay!
All right, yeah, all right. Well, yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, cheers. Bye.
Right, bingo starting. I've got to go.
Yeah.
Sponsoring this series of FFS, My Dad is Martin Kemp, is Norwegian Cruise Line, or NCL for short.
Yeah, now listen, Ro, because I know a thing or two about ships.
Oh, here we go.
Norwegian Cruise Line has been a trailblazer in shaping the Caribbean cruise experience as we know it today. As the first cruise line to offer weekly departures from the Caribbean, NCL revolutionised the industry, right? Making this stunning region more accessible to travellers worldwide. From pioneering the concept of exclusive private islands with Great Stirrup Cay to developing new ports across the Caribbean, NCL's legacy and expertise have solidified its position as a leader in Caribbean cruising.
I mean, wow. Where have you pulled that from? I mean, look, yeah, okay, fine. You know a thing or two about ships. I'll take that. Now, one thing, though, that really stood out to me. Did you say private island?
Yeah, I did, Ro. NCL was also the first cruise line to pioneer the concept of an exclusive private island with Great Stirrup Cay.
So you get to actually go to a private island. That's insane.
With NCL's new package, you can now get even more out of your cruise holiday. Norwegian Cruise Line offers more with its brand new More at Sea package. More to see, more to do, more to enjoy. FFS, My Dad is Martin Kemp, is an Insanity Studios production. The head of production is Charlotte Mason, the head of digital is Ed Buckley, and the production assistant is Abby Sandler.